Testing. All right. Hello, everyone. Azure Paragon is here, is back, and yeah. So, not much to say. I've made a decent return, I guess, and there really has been a lot of life changes that's been going on for me. Really, not just from recent days, but also for really throughout this whole year. I mean, for one, I started this podcast uh, in hopes of just like trying something different, starting out something new of its own brand kind. I may be an artist mostly, and that's what I've always done pretty much throughout my entire life, and pretty much for the most part. But I also want to do this for fun. There's no like really like complex reason as to why the YapperCast or YapperZone thing exists. But it's definitely something I figured I'd do as a bit of a hobby, beyond just visual art, because I used to do a lot of freelancing in the form of like just doing art professionally to make money off of it and use it as a living. And to an extent, that practice does hold a little bit of truth to this day, but I don't really do commissions anymore, um, especially as a full time job. That being said, my career changes that I'm actually in the military now, the U.S. Army. So that's pretty much what my lifestyle is going to be for quite a while. I'm not sure how long it's going to go for, even beyond the said contract, but that's just how it's going to be. But don't get me wrong, I'm going to keep posting like whatever new content comes about and just kind of like, let life go by, and just whatever I produce, I create, be it comics, projects, podcasts, audio, music, photographs, films, and even just like individual artworks that I usually always typically do. Those will be posted every time I get a chance to like finish something, touch it up, and then be able to go online and post it. So that's just how it's that's just how it goes. It's been like that for like like over like well over a decade and a half actually, over my course of being online in the internet for such a long time, since the mid 2000s, I believe. But that all being said, really, it's actually kind of tricky here because I can't just like interview someone right off the get go like that, not without a little privacy. So what I might consider doing is just do it when my roommates are not present and knowingly not going to be present to come back for quite some time. Because maybe they're out to eat or while I'm staying here in the barracks or something like that. Or for whatever other reasons that could be about. I'll be on holiday block leave pretty soon. Um, that's to be around midish late December, starting out pretty much late December actually, but it's gonna be before Christmas, so I'll be able to not only finish and produce a lot of other stuff and be able to post them once my holiday begins, but I should be able to actually properly conduct new episodes of the YapperZone or YapperCast, if you want to call it, and that will definitely host a return and reprise of interviewees that I am hoping to looking to contact pretty soon. But that being said, November is pretty much over, uh, almost over. But for what it is worth, we all have our fun times and down times. Not everyone's a fan of holidays, so this Thanksgiving was actually pretty fulfilling. I pretty much had a nap after that, and much like others, it was that whole like stuff it up with your belly and eat all that turkey and just go through the itis effect of just like being sleepy after that. But apart from that, normally I do is just, do other stuff or head straight to doing like chores or tasks or doing art and creating stuff or organizing things after a meal. I mean, I try to stay busy in the day and I'm much more healthier and fit than I ever was before with this newfound military career of mine. Um, and especially after I finished basic training, or boot camp, as some people like to colloquially call it. But really, that's only properly used as a term in the Marines and the Navy. But in the army, it's really called basic training. Um, Nonetheless, there's really not much else to think of that I am tangling my brain with. But um, as far as the art goes, there's no telling what goes on next. I kind of just live it day by day nowadays, with no super like proposed plan or anything like that. I do write down a bit of a script of like what the next comic page is supposed to be, whatever comic page or comic project I'm currently working on. Sometimes there were times even back then, mostly behind the scenes or behind the doors, that I was always like working on more than one comic project at a time. And I've always been reluctant to post stuff like that in public. Or then I just have it done elsewhere, and that's where I get an audience. Mostly in real life though. So despite that, I don't know. It's just I need to find a way to like break out of that shell and just post the comic pages on the internet instead of always just keeping them to only like an offline community that I've had for years, with some networks of people and friends I've just been associated with wherever I go. But usually I'm okay with just like posting individual artworks online that whether or not they're part of a project, they're just like just kind of their own self-contained thing. Be it commissions or stuff I've done as a gift, or even just some of the more spicy stuff, if that makes sense. You furries know what I'm talking about. You know who you are. You know who you are. You know what I mean. So you've seen it. But yeah, I'm just trying to like retain my productivity and not like overdo myself. But at the same time, because I'm in this like new lifestyle and career, being in the military, active duty, mind you, I actually do have less time for art. So and it's only gonna like stay this way for a while, with the exception of holiday block leave permeating for the second half of December. So I can post stuff, but most chances are most of the stuff I'll be posting, or at least more than half of it, will be like stuff I finished either already in like recent months, or it might be stuff that I've finished a long, long time ago, but never had the chance to really touch up and post because I wasn't confident about it for God knows what reason at the time. So you're gonna getting a culmination of like old and new stuff. Not always based off the way it looks. It can be an indicator of that, but if I'll always make sure to like whenever I upload something, I'll describe it, type it out, and provide it in context. Yada yada that stuff. Or you could just like look at the year it was written on the signature of an artwork. Because most of the time I always like any artist, I would sign my artworks and then write the year or the date. Signatures and all. Um, so that's just another indicator. It's like, oh, this piece is old. It's actually not new. It's just that it's just never been published for such a long time on the internet online, especially in like more accessible platforms that are meant to be public and not like private or walled to some sort of paywall or whatever, what have you. But regardless of the platform, I'll still be around and alive, and just good to know that I'm like around and just being productive as a really good hardworking artist, on top of being this newfound soldier. Technically, well, actually, we're called troops over at AIT, but despite that, troop or soldier, it is what it is. And yeah, now there was a reason why I did join the military. It's not just kind of like the interest and inspiration behind like what it stands for, but it's actually because I actually went through this because I almost did end up homeless after some problems of living in Texas. And while I still am, but now I'm not like in my own apartment anymore, and I'm in a barracks inside a military base within the area of just. And obviously, that being said, I uh, I kind of wish I did get my freedom back, but that's not going to be happening for a long time. So I just learned to live with it and just sail away. And there are some things about it that sucks, but you just learn to cope with it, no matter how you do in just whatever program or job or career you're in. And it can be tricky, but there's really I don't know. I've just been feeling so different with every these aspects, and it really does seem like things have not only changed a lot for me, and are continuing to shift, but it's like nothing just feels the same anymore, for better or worse. Even if I'm still continuing to produce art and utilize my hobbies and use my time productively, every day, day by day. So, yeah, nothing seems as foreordained as I had originally once thought so. I used to write a lot of things down with like that, and I don't do it as much anymore or fervently, but it's also because I just don't have as much of the free time like I used to as a freelancer back when I used to work at a job that was kind of like full time, but kind of part time because hours were really loose, and then I just go back to my apartment every day to draw. Or times when I was not working anymore, like officially, and then I was just like able to freelance again, and like go wild and spend all my time 24/7, with a randomized sleep schedule, being an artist. But those days are also over as well, so it's no longer the case for me. Um, Hopefully, I can kind of go back to that old lifestyle somehow, but it's gonna be one heck of a while. And I just wonder how things will go over the course of this decade, in fact. But I'm getting ahead of myself. That's just thinking long term. Um, but as it currently sits, in the short term, I'm just gonna live it through day by day and just stay alive, stay well, and reconnect with friends, old pals, old buddies, and make new friends and all that jazz. And I'll be continuing to stream art and just stream in general, and see if I can get my ass like back up from like things I've also aspired to settle for. Like I still want to like set up a VR avatar and just see what those worlds are like in the virtual reality chat, VR chat, because I know that's always been a big hit for several years, and there's a lot of content, like a whole lot of content now developed these days. And I figured, why don't I just finally go ahead and join the pool while there's still some time left, especially considering it's the holidays. This year is almost over, 2022. It's coming to an end, like faster than I imagined. And I went through so many different things going through this year. Last year was just like it was the opposite mostly. It was peaceful, don't get me wrong, but I just every day was kind of the same. I just did my art, ate whatever I wanted to eat, drank, the mundaneness, just sleep, and travel on occasion, which was fun. I had made new friends that way. It was memorable going to travel to other parts of the country, mostly because of the fact that like going to like conventions and furry conventions propelled me to spend my money and travel and go through these places and meet new friends. Um, and just kind of like it was my it was my way of enjoying life as an entrepreneur, even though I was not that good at it. I still felt like I had a lot to learn, and I always struggled to make money, and I got tired of being like almost broke almost all the time. And most of the time, I had to just like donate blood on top of trying to offer up new commissions to make and settle and deal with. And I hope I can seal any old cracks, and just either refund some people now or just finish something for them. Maybe even make them something additional as a consolation. But yeah, like those dear intentions are still there for me. I take forever to get around these, and it's kind of hard to explain why. And besides my new career, it's the problem is it just comes down to energy and motivation. Like my focus would, there are times mostly when I would rather just do something else, even in art, like make my own concepts or work on my passion projects, mostly pertaining to my comics, or just draw something and paint something for fun, um, or make gift art for someone. It's just always been my habit, and it's really difficult to break a habit, if not like outright kill it, because it's actually impossible to completely eliminate a habit. It just kind of comes with you, and it is part of who you are. But there are ways to shift it for the better. And I'm gonna see if I can get back to some who've been waiting for a very long time from me, and I need to return the favor whenever I can and be able to execute it well, like just illustrate something really good. But that being said, um, there's not much else to go for, and just I just focus on doing one thing at a time. And I guess you could say my future has some trajectory to it, but not in the ways I had imagined or expected before. Because upon joining the military, this was sort of a last resort for me. And of all the branches, I ended up in the army because it's actually pretty easy to get recruited from that. And they've been like desperately looking for more recruits in that field. However, this it was not originally my plan or anything like that. It's been wandering my mind for a while since I kind of had an affinity for the military and being part of it someday, and it eventually happened. But really, this it just came out of the fact that I just almost ended up homeless and destitute. So it was really just an act of desperation, with the help of my dad and other family members who were able to cooperate with getting me recruited into this, and kind of just make the mess a less of a bigger mess than it used to be for me in my life and all that jazz. But even with all that, it's not bad. It's not too bad. Um, you know, Naturally there are some things I would be yearning for, but it just can't be helped. There are definitely aspects like I said before, that I do miss dearly, such as my full time of freedom. But sometimes you really do have to make compromises sometimes, and this is what's happening. So it is what it is, and I can accept it. But eventually, once I get set into a duty station, hopefully I'll have more free time that way. But there's no telling. I can't promise anything. Um, the chances of me choosing where I want to live to like settle in an apartment is even less likely now because well, I'm actually active duty. I'm not like a reserves or a national guard, so that's another thing to keep in mind. And unless things change, it's probably going to stay this way for a few more years at least. Because typically a person who is single, technically, they would end up in a barracks on base, and they not like a person with a family or a loved one married, where they can like have a home with their housing allowance given by the army. The only other circumstance, as far as I'm aware, is that for a person who's single, um, or just has no family, like of their own and not married, the likelihood of them just like getting a housing allowance and having a choice of like where or what kind of like home they can live in is very unlikely. That's only like if there's like no more rooms for the barracks based on where they are stationed at that moment, and that can be anywhere, like not just within the United States, but like wherever they're stationed in any foreign country or internationally overseas. Um, the list goes on as far as the possibilities go. That all being said, I mean, regardless of where I live, I'll always be an artist and just do my productive things, just produce everything. And I'll find times where where I can stream and just spend some of those hours, free hours, when I don't have to clean up or organize or study or go to formation or do some like chores or tasks with my buddies, battle buddies, mind you. It's like, okay, yeah, I can just go ahead and then sit down on my computer and start streaming, um, especially when I feel like streaming or when I have to draw something upon just like, why not show it while I'm working on it in the process. Mostly this pertains to digital art because trying to set it up to like view me drawing something on like paper or canvas, it's a pain in the ass and it just would not look optimal. So what I stream is just digital art only nowadays. But someday some things may change. Who knows? It's just I'm glad to be back though, and I'm gonna try to keep it that way to the best of my abilities. But yeah, this just really, what else should I say? But yeah, I'll actually come up with a proper topic in mind for the next episode when I get someone I can interview and see what I can do about that. From previous streams in recent times, I've had some new followers, so I have to thank you guys for that. Cozy the Burb, thank you for following. I know it's been a few days ago, several days ago. M Warner has followed me here on Twitch, so thank you. Alligator T underscore T, thank you for following. It's been almost 2 weeks, but I appreciate it nonetheless. So that's a shout out to all three of you and beyond. Yeah, so who knows? There's really not much else I could really think about or say. So let's see. I figured if I would leave it at that, you know, I do appreciate the fact that y'all are listening. If you actually, dare took the time to listen to this, I know this is not the kind of episode one might expect, because it's really a monologue, a solo, if you may. But I needed to produce something, of this caliber or of this nature, of this format before the month is over. So I figured while like my battle buddies are out right now, this is where I will be recording my speech as it is. And yeah, I need to do something about sorting out my Twitter accounts. I was way too ambitious for that kind of stuff. Like, the thing is, I have this like this compulsion to like be so ambitious about everything I do. It's just I bite off way more than I can chew, and that's going to need a lot more tweaking and curtailing. And as I am growing older and growing up over the months and years that pass by, it does need to honestly be adjusted properly. I might be able to repurpose some of those Twitter accounts that I haven't even bothered to use in a long time for much of anything. Um, and even when I was like freelancing 24/7, I just never gave it enough attention or utility. I was only able to focus on a few Twitter accounts of mine for the obvious reasons and purposes, be it my safe for work and not safe for work main account or my art gallery accounts. And my comic projects accounts can only go so far if I can make new content related to those, but I just haven't gone around to posting stuff like that. Mostly because I'm pretty much like a perfectionist in those aspects, or I also got like lazy and complacent from like touching them up whatever I've already finished in the analog side of things, and I just need to Photoshop a lot of stuff that's been like buried for months and years, some even over a decade, believe it or not. So I still have a lot of like buried content I need to finally unleash to the internet in public, and just leave it at that, because with all the stuff and all the times and the free time I've had spent doing art, beyond just commissions, over the many years, I just they were just left unposted, off the face of the net. It's not just the things I've already published and been publishing recently, since then, but just goes to show how hyper productive I've always been as an artist. Just never always had the chance or even bothered to like post a lot of stuff that because they're just untouched, and I'm not ready to post something that is not like edited or formatted properly until then. That's always been a thing from like my productive ethics. That being said, I'll leave it at that, and y'all have a really good day. Happy holidays. I hope your Thanksgiving was good. I hope your Black Fridays were safe and sound. If you bought anything, personally, I would have preferred to have you guys like buy stuff online because it's more convenient. But Black Friday is already over. The deals, whatever it may be, I didn't buy anything. I just wanted to conserve and save money, but with the exception of art commissions. But those had no connection to Black Friday sales, sadly. But it is what it is. I'm satisfied with what's going to be about to come. Those contests will be posted pretty soon too, not just the stuff I make. So I receive art on occasion. I'm able to commission and buy more art a little more easily, but now that's already done. I need to start like being conservative and save up again. I already spent a lot of money planning out the fun stuff to do over the holiday break for December. So I'm gonna be pretty busy like traveling and basically posting stuff that I never had the chance to post, and even finishing up any unfinished artworks that's come about up to this point, and then just continue on from there much more easily um, during the second half of December because I'll have much more free time that way. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. All right. So with that being said, thank you for listening to the Yapper Zone. This concludes episode 4. I know it's pretty short, but maybe this might be the new format from now on. Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. Previous episodes have been about an hour long, roughly, more or less. But this one is only a half hour long. So maybe this might work in favor to how I can manage things for like the technical side and upload stuff more fluently. Y'all have a great day. This is Azure Paragon, aka Octashire, over and out, signing out. Take care, y'all.